Support your locals, starting with Space Smoke Shop, located on 125 East Pennington Street, Tucson, Arizona.
Space Smoke Shop features local glass, cheap tobacco, and any drink you can think of. They're also a hookah lounge and a venue. Like them on Facebook to keep up with shows, details, and new products.
Every second and fourth Tuesday is Punk Rock Tuesday at Space Smoke Shop, 125 East Pennington Street, downtown Tucson, Arizona. Be sure to tell them you heard about them on the GMR Podcast.
GMR. You're listening to the GMR Podcast. You can hear the GMR Podcast on Stitcher. Stitcher is radio on demand. Download the free app today. Listen anytime, anywhere.
Create custom playlists. Over 20,000 shows to discover. Rate and review my show, the GMR Podcast, on Stitcher. Available on iOS, Android, Nook, and iPad.
On demand and on the go. No downloading, no syncing, no wasted memory. Stream your favorite podcast. Don't have Stitcher? Download it free today at Stitcher.com or in the App Store.
GMR.
GMR.
Like the Hogwarts Express, and we'll just go to New York City.
That's right.
And we'll go hit the Howard Stern show.
New York City.
New York City. That's right. Have you ever been to New York City?
No,
I have not either.
but I have been to show 61
I've been to, I'm there right now.
of the GMR Podcast.
GMR Podcast 61.
Incredible.
We forgot how many weeks it was to ComiCon.
It's a late one tonight. You wouldn't know by listening, of course, but we're letting you know this.
Usually by this point, I'm on the bus on the way home. But I just moved somewhere where the buses no longer run past 7:30, which is pretty lame because you think like an airport bus would run really late because it's the airport. What if you're getting in on the red eye at 11:30 or midnight, 1 o'clock?
They're forcing you to take a cab, and
You know what I
it's
mean?
just too
At
expensive.
least at that point, I've always thought, I guess it's a union thing. These guys don't want to work that late. I don't know. But I've always thought if you ran one like every 2 hours at that point, it's no longer once every hour because that's usually how it is when it gets late, once every hour, unless it's a number 8 or number 16. And if you live in some other state or country, you don't know what I'm talking about because we have a lot of international listeners at this point, from what I understand.
Yes.
So, you can easily get stranded because Tucson is a wide, long city. It's just a big spread out mess. It's all over the place. And if you're over here and you want to get over there, you better leave before the sun starts going down.
Well, when we first moved here, long ago, we would get lost all the time.
Oh, yeah. It all looks the same. It's all pretty much the same stuff. And it's huge. That's my story.
How many weeks to Comic-Con?
I'm not sure. I said
Pretty
I
sure it
mentioned-
was 14 weeks.
I know it's 13 or 14.
13. Wow,
That's what's gonna be next week then. So you'll be
14. 14.
You'll be like
weeks.
wow next week. Wow. Next week.
Wow.
Comic-Con's just around the corner, kids.
How many weeks was that? 14.
14 weeks, Lou.
Who?
What time? Robin. What? No.
It's Howard. What?
He's on the telephone. All right.
Oh, wow.
We were doing a bit for a second, but then we stopped.
Week 61.
Wow.
Amazing. So Harold Ramis died.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But we all die, I guess, eventually. Not I
That's-
guess. There is no I
no.
guess to that equation. It's
Well,
just...
our bodies fail us one day. Yeah.
And, looking back at the things that this guy, just his writing credits alone, shit. Oh, well, let's just start at the beginning. Animal House.
Yeah. Was that his first
Yeah,
movie?
yeah. He fucking wrote Animal House
That's
right
a
out the gate.
classic. That's a classic.
Now, that alone,
What year did that come out?
like 78.
78. So they had already Saturday Night Live was already rolling along by this point.
Well,
John Belushi was still alive. He had walked away. Was he still on the show, or had he left the show by that point?
I think he left by that 5th season. So he left in like
Yeah.
early 79, probably.
Marty just scored a big stack of the first 5 seasons of Saturday Night Live,
Yeah.
unedited, uncensored, just commercial to commercial stuff.
Crazy stuff.
And it's crazy. The Muppets were in the first season.
Yeah, it's
Who remembers
bizarre.
that?
I know I didn't.
That was that 76,
Yeah, 75.
75. Yeah, because there were a lot of Gerald Ford jokes, as I remember.
yeah, there's a
That
lot
was
of
classic. Because that guy used to fall down a lot.
Yeah.
You see, that's the thing. He fell down in public like several times.
That's what
He
he's
was-
most remembered for.
He was the president, but he wasn't elected.
yeah.
He was Nixon and all this shit.
And then in 79, he wrote Meatballs.
Meatballs, another classic movie.
I mean, 2 in a row, that's hard to come by. But then the roll just keeps going. Stripes, 81.
Yeah,
National Lampoon's Vacation, 83.
he just latched on to. That was 83.
I think, right?
I didn't know that he directed.
No, he wrote it.
Oh, he wrote it.
Yeah. It was John Hughes who directed that
Ah,
one.
the great
Who
John
also
Hughes.
had a great 80s run.
Sure, all our classic 80s,
And then after that,
Pretty in Pink
he
and
writes
shit like
he writes
that.
Ghostbusters after that.
Ghostbusters. Who are you gonna call?
Now that's an
Harold
amazing
Ramis.
streak right there. Shit.
No dud there. Just
And then we finally hit Club Paradise in 1986.
I loved Club
What did he
Paradise.
do at Club Paradise?
Club Paradise was awesome, bro. Let's go to Jamaica, right? Let's go to the islands and just make a movie. Come on. It'll be fun. We'll take Robin. It was a really good Jimmy Cliff.
I
in
must
it.
have watched it 20 times or more when I was a kid.
Jimmy Cliff.
Robin Williams is a firefighter, and he goes on vacation.
Rick Moranis.
Yep.
Who's the other guy? Oh, Eugene Levy. Was it Eugene Levy?
Is Peter O'Toole in that movie?
Yes, Peter O'Toole. Just a good movie.
And then a few years later, he writes Groundhog Day. So, and he did other things later, like Analyze This and whatnot. But I think those early ones, just wow, that's an unmatched streak. Every one of those is perfect. Oh, there was one in there I forgot.
What?
1980s Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
He wrote that also. He wrote all of that
We
in
read-
a row, in a fucking row. That's crazy.
We just watched an old Saturday Night Live from '79, I believe. Where let me get this cap off the microphone. Let me put the microphone down. You talk for a second.
This was his last movie, year one. I haven't watched it yet.
Man, we got to watch
From 5 years ago.
have to watch that one together, bro.
All right.
I really want to see that one. Because that's like the Bible movie.
Right,
It's
right.
a total
Here's
rip-off
another one
of
of
the
these.
Bible
Yeah.
movie.
Well, it's just another one of that genre.
was the classic thing about the Bible. Speaking of the Bible movie, something we were talking about on the pre-show.
That was the Fred TV, the movie, right?
Yeah, Fred TV presents the Bible movie, basically, but it was the Bible movie.
It's a pretty ambitious project for about 20-some years ago.
I got a grant.
Were you shooting on 3/4? Or
No,
half
no.
inch?
We were just shooting camcorder, just
Half inch,
camcorder.
right.
So it It didn't look that great. I mean, some of the stuff. I wish you had seen the Adam and Eve stuff we shot up in Sabino Canyon
Only heard about it.
with Ruth Golden and Mark Delaney. Just classic. Just naked up in Sabino Canyon shooting. And they actually bothered. These are two people that actually bothered to learn their lines and rehearse.
Only you had digital.
I believe they might have even gotten together and rehearsed a couple times.
And HD.
You know what I mean?
To be shot in high def.
And then we shot Cain and Abel.
I was in the movie.
You were in the movie?
My hands.
Oh, you were the hands of God.
Yes.
You were the very first image in the movie.
That is correct.
And that was the only thing we shot out of sequence because we had to shoot that in the studio. Because the green screen, we didn't have that kind of a technology
Exactly.
back in 1980,
the big
89, 1990.
mime special effects. I was basically wearing the white gloves against the black background.
It looked great.
Yeah,
as I recall,
it was very sharp.
It was a one-take shoot, and that was the day we were shooting Moses. As I recall.
Oh, the chroma key of the big crowd.
Was it Moses or was it Noah's Ark? Might have been Noah's Ark. No, I think it was Moses because Shane was there. Who was Moses?
Oh, was it?
God, it was so long ago.
It was, he was in ZTTF, right?
Oh, Fred?
No, Dennis, right?
Dennis, I have no idea. It was so long ago.
Because everybody was playing multiple characters, of course, and so
Oh,
they
yeah.
were layered in the crowd.
We were doing this chroma key effect. That's where.
Having
Glenn's-
seen Life of Brian recently, I totally understand. It's like, oh, they were making one of these.
That's what the movie was actually based on. Me and Fred were like huge Monty Python fans, and we watched, we'd watched The Life of Brian over, several times. Fred knew it by heart. He could just sit there and recite the entire movie to you, and do little voices and shit. And that got me hooked. And then I started recording it for him off of Comedy Central, and giving him the tapes. And he'd come over to my house and he'd play Tetris, and he'd never leave my house. So he'd just be like, just one more game, bro. Just one more game. And I'm like, all right. And the next thing you know, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. You're like, God damn, Fred. And he'd go home. And after a night like that, he had got the camera. He had got to check out a camera from the studio. So I talked him into giving me the keys. And I went over there and unlocked his band hut. I told him, leave the camera in the band hut. I'll go get the camera. And then I'll come wake you up. Your mom will let me in. I'll wake you up and with the camera because you're kind of an asshole when you wake up, right? That was the premise. And of course, when I go do this, well, then he wakes up and he's also got the biggest grin on his fucking face, right? Because he's just all sitting there excited, waiting for me to come with the camera. You know what I mean? You can't do jackass shit unless it's real jackass shit.
Oh, and you all were definitely forerunners of that type of program.
Well,
Buy a Banana is a pre Johnny Knoxville stunt. And I did tweet that out months ago.
Yeah.
So look on our at GMR Podcast and scroll down for the banana skit. It's classic.
so that's how I got involved in public access. Before that, he would like call me, and I'd hang out at Master Control. He was a volunteer.
So who wrote that script? Because there's no name on it.
Me and Fred sat. I was getting to this point, so we'd sit there and watch this movie, and then we watched the Ten Commandments.
Oh yeah, because there's the Edward G. Robinson character.
So then we kind of mashed that up. So we took all the sex, just the most disturbing parts of the Bible. Like people are just so like, oh, the Bible. If it isn't the Bible, right? You gotta follow the rules in the Bible. There are rules in the Bible like, if a woman is menstruating, she has to walk 50 feet behind everybody, right? Well, that's the rule. So is that, what if we're going to apply all these other rules that aren't the Ten Commandments, which seem like fairly good rules. I don't know about taking God's name in vain because we all do shit like that, but that's not that cool.
How far into the Bible did the adaptation go? I've never sat down and read the Bible. What I've learned is basically from TV. I kind of know the order of some of the stuff of how it goes, but
so yeah, like the Ten Commandments was the Moses part was like the main part of the movie. But we
like that Holy Moses movie I was watching.
We would sit there and we would just flip open the Bible and just start reading the Bible. That's how it started. We were like, hey, Fred was like, let's write a Bible movie. And I was like, okay. So he came over to my house and we sat there with a notebook and we just started writing. We just flipped open the Bible and just started reading it. And we're like, well, the script's already written for us. All we have to do is add a few jokes here and there, a little humor. So we just went through the Bible. We just flip it open, and most anywhere you flip it open to, you're going to find a really disturbing story. You know what I mean? Incest, all kinds of, let's kill these people for no fucking reason. Let's go over to let's just slaughter the village. Let's slaughter all the firstborn, or let's just go over and kill them all. There was one story where this guy wanted to marry this other guy's daughter from another village, but the guy was like religious, and the only way he could marry the daughter was to get circumcised. So the guy was like a prince or some shit, and he made everybody get circumcised. Now, I may be completely wrong on all these facts.
Well, does it depend? What version were you reading?
So we were reading the
King James, or
no, we were reading the Catholic version.
Oh, okay.
The Catholic Bible.
I get confused because there's so many different versions.
Oh, there are. That's a whole other story. But if I don't focus on this, okay, I'll forget where I'm going with it. So they made this guy get circumcised, and he had everyone in the fucking tribe, in the village, circumcised, right? All the men circumcised, so this guy could marry this other person. He actually raped her, I believe. He raped her. But, that's against the rules, so now you rape my daughter, so you have to marry her. And he offered her like a couple oxen, right? Because you get like ox, you know what an oxen is? It's an animal.
Oh, of course.
It's kind of like a cow, but it's different. Anyway, so they offered like some oxen and some shekels. You got some shekels. Everything's cool if you had enough shekels. No matter what you did to my family. Oh, you killed my slave? Well, fuck. Now you owe me a donkey.
Half a shekel for my life story.
You know what I mean? Exactly. A shekel went a long way back then. Let me tell you. So everybody gets circumcised in this village, and then the other guys, they come in and just slaughter everyone, because on the third day, when it is most painful, that's what it says in there. When your dick hurts the most after getting that circumcision, so you're just pretty much don't want to do anything. You're just at home holding your dick, trying not to fucking bump it on stuff or do it, I don't know. I was a baby.
They didn't have modern medicine.
I was a baby when I was circumcised. It wasn't like I was 30. You know what I mean? These are like adults being circumcised. So then these guys come in and kill everybody and take the women. And these are the holy men. And this is this is a story in the Bible. I'm not making it up. Just one of the many stories that formed the Bible movie. So we would just flip open the book and boom, it's like random, and there would be a story, and then we just take that story and elaborate on it. Moses, no one really knew what Moses was. At least all our Moses was a lot of it was based on the movie, the Ten Commandments, because in that movie he was an architect or some shit, but it never actually says in the Bible. So in our version, he was a proctologist. He was a royal proctologist, and he just walked around with his middle finger stuck up, just like that dude who was with the crazy eye, who was a cowboy and back in the day, who was in those Cannonball Run movies.
Oh yeah.
He was the crazy doctor. Remember, he'd walk around with his fingers stuck up. Anyway, so that's the kind
Jack
of
Elam.
yeah, Jack Elam. He's a weird looking dude. If you got a head like that, you should be going to auditions, making money, taking acting classes. Because you could, even if you can't act, you could be that guy in the background with the weird face, with the weird head. Adds atmosphere. Adds something. I don't know. Have you ever looked at James Franco? He's not that pretty. He's just kind of weird looking.
So you were watching a lot of Freaks and Geeks
Oh,
lately.
Freaks and Geeks. Yeah, those freaks were very freaky. Hey, here's a question. What happened to the tall kid? The tall geek, the one who drank. Well, we're gonna have to look this up sometime, since we don't have a tablet and or an assistant here. Because once again, Ray Daniel decided he would do his schoolwork instead of come to the GMR podcast. Are you listening, Ray? Does he listen now? He's at least listening, right? You don't know.
Don't know.
He's not tweeting about it. He isn't getting the hookup on Facebook.
I mean, he plugs the show, but I don't know if he's actually.
I like to think that he's listening. Otherwise, we're going to have to turn this into the Gene and Marty radio.
Apparently, he was even in that This Is the End movie we watched.
Who was?
That actor you were talking about.
James Franco?
Freaks and Geeks. No, the tall guy who liked to watch Dallas.
Yeah, that guy. Because his voice, his character in that movie was very, very Ray, the dude who was in, what's his name? Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, yeah. And that guy's name is Ray.
Ray, yeah, okay. Not Daniel. Ramon. Let's just call him Ramon. Let's just stop fucking around. Ramon. Where are you, Ramon? Hey, you're going to get some free subs at Jimmy John's, brother. Woo.
Yeah, they put those coupons on the door again. It's like, right on.
God damn, about time. You've been patronizing their business for years. Keeping it going, you and the U of A.
That's right.
It's nice to live in the U of A area. It's not all run down like the rest of lots of parts of Tucson.
Those have its advantages.
You know what? But what was the temperature today? 70, 78?
It's decent out.
You know what I mean? It might rain tomorrow. You know, I heard the polar vortex is back. You hear about that?
Yeah, I heard, but it wasn't going to be as bad.
I heard it's like the third or fourth one this year.
Well, that's why we don't live on the East Coast.
Since I've now moved to a new location, I'm able to listen to the Republican radio again. I didn't have a chance to hear Rush Limbaugh this morning, but looking forward to it in the future because I like listening to nutty shit, you know? Crazy motherfuckers saying stuff. Plus, it's good to know what these people are up to.
Yeah. That's why Howard watches Fox News.
There was a time I'd just leave the radio on that station all the time, and I'd listen to all that shit like Dr. Laura, and I'd listen to all that fucking shit. And I'd play fucking Tenchu and do this shit. So I was training hard, and I was training well, my friend.
Yes.
Lord Goda demands it. He expects it. Lord Goda expects much of you. You must train hard, and you must train well. So I believe that, dude. I took my video game experience, and I got more out of it than that $60 could ever buy anywhere else. So we got a grant for the Bible movie. We got a grant from Access Tucson, or maybe it was TCCC back then, like $100 for props or whatnot. And with the, they give us the grant with the idea, well, all we have to do is give them a show, right? give them the thing the grant is for. So the grant was for the Bible movie. And then slowly shit started. We shot Cain and Abel. That was pretty good. And then we started shooting the Moses shit. And at this point, nobody knows their lines. Nobody cares. We're just getting people like family members. Hey, read these lines. Stand in front of this. And our arc was a fucking old trailer, which I guess we could have worked with. It could have been, I don't know. Anyway, at this point, it just all started falling apart. And there was a lot of Glenn Stockelberg. He chopped our script and whatnot. So to answer your question, me and Fred would get together every night, like clockwork, and write this movie. Some nights we'd only write like 2 or 3 lines. We'd sit there.
Been there.
We'd sit there over every word, like the best way to present it. And in my mind, I saw this movie. And really, the only way it could have been performed, done any justice, was just to get the Monty Python guys to do it, right? Because that's who everything was written. It was just Monty Python. It was just like those days when I was playing too much Tenchu. And all I could do is think about ninjas, and I'd see ninjas everywhere you look. There'd be a ninja in every shadow sneaking up on you. Because ninjas, that's all you think about. So at that time, all I could think about was Monty Python and the Holy Grail and the Life of Brian and just how those guys would perform. So me and Fred sat there and wrote every line in this movie into a notebook. And then Fred, we were like, we need a director. We need somebody to direct this shit. We need somebody to take over, right? Fred didn't. It's too much work at this point. I'm not knocking Fred, but it's too much work. So he says, oh, let's get Glenn Stockelberg. What would you call him? He was an engineer at Access at TCCC, Tucson Community Cable Corporation. He volunteered to help us make this movie. And I'd sit down there in the little office, and he would type all this shit out so we could put it on a computer disk, and then we could print it and stuff like that. This is how long ago this was. And then he would keep telling me things like, oh, you can't do this. This doesn't make any sense. And this guy was like, he worked in like stage theater, you know what I mean? That's where he's coming from. I don't know where he's coming from. Anyway, so I made compromises that I wish I hadn't made, and I wish I had the original script translated word for word, because Fred Janis and me, I don't know if it's Fred Janis and I, or me and Fred Janis, or whatever. We put many hours into crafting every little aspect of that, and it was we wrote with had no budget. We had $100 budget, and we wrote a $100,000 movie, $30,000 movie, something like that. I don't know. Done properly, it'd be $1 million. Give us a couple million, we could have made that movie. I could have made that movie at that point, because when I was super saturated in it, you know how you are when you write something and you're like totally in it and you can just see it in your brain. But it's hard to translate that using other people. I like what you've done, you and Cliff. You've got the point where people appreciate your writing, and they take what you do and make it their own thing.
See, you didn't have Craigslist back then.
We didn't have anything back then.
Because you could have been like, let's put a call out for actors, the people that might actually want to act.
Or if we were even smart at all, we could have went down to the U of A or just any of these community theater companies.
I used to do the same thing.
Right?
We would just put each other in front of the camera.
Yeah, and that's
or whoever's
retarded.
in the room. Here, you come in here and say this. They don't want to act. Find somebody who wants to
do it. That looks horrible. That's just, yeah. the best stuff is the stuff people who want to do it.
Exactly.
So, but there were many options. We just didn't think of it. We could have went to the theater, community theater groups. It's good to have a manager. We were writers.
And we'll be right back.
Oh, it's over now. It's the after show. After show.
Yeah, it's
after show. And now it's time for the after show. All right, so the after show. Are we going to talk about things that just happened?
Yeah, what just happened?
Oh, well, shit. I was just talking about the Bible movie.
Yeah, I think that's, and I rediscovered the script, and it's funny that all these years I still have a copy of the script, so maybe that means something should be done with it, because why else have I been the keeper of it all these years?
You and Kevin Sloan and Dan Harrigan fucking keeping it real.
Yep.
Every goddamn month. Pine coffee.
Hopefully Kevin's putting together some 30-year anniversary.
I hear Tea and Whiskey's going to be playing there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Those
big
guys
reunion
are
show.
from Europe. Tea and
GMR.
Whiskey. They're an English-Irish combo sort of thing. They're trying to unite. There's a lot of friction that's gone on over the years.
GMR.
Oh, is that it?
It should be.
All right. GMR Podcast.
GMR. 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 GMR.